So Jay, it's a real pleasure to have a one-to-one conversation with you. Your presentation to the Asian Fire Service Association conference in Kent was absolutely amazing. As you know, my name's Jagtar Singh and I'm the National Officer for the Asian Fire Service Association and a founder member. So Jay, can you just lead us through your journey to maybe today? What's been the main obstacles in your way of being the real Jay?
Well, the obstacles that I had to face, obviously you heard in the speech, having to overcome a horrific homophobic attack, which nearly, cost me my life. Having to overcome those, then also having to leave East London at a very young age and set up my new life, and find ways to rebuild my confidence.
Did you have to leave London because of who you are, or did you leave London for another reason?
I left East London purely because, one, I was scared, right. and two, because obviously being disowned at that time, I just wanted to be as far away as possible.
So that's something that we all take for granted. We take for granted our friends and family to give us structure and support. So you'd had to lose all that and then rebuild your life. Talk to us about how you rebuilt your life away from what was home.
Well, rebuilding my life, it came with its challenges. However, in my parents' defense, irrespective of the fact that they didn't understand my sexuality, my parents always taught me about resilience, and they already at a very young age instilled that in me about valuing myself. And maybe they shot themselves in the foot because it's their very words that kept me strong when I found out about my sexual orientation. And it's those things that I took with me and tried to find ways to fit in, things to do. It was difficult, I'm not going to lie, but that resilience.
Good. There's an old mantra which says, you don't know what it's like on the tallest mountain until you're in the deepest valley. From your presentation, I've seen you in the tallest mountain. I've seen that presentation in your deepest valley. Talk to us about your experiences being in the deep valley and then clawing your way back into the summit of that mountain that you've climbed.
So the experience of being in the deep valley are experiences of being in a very dark place, being very vulnerable, because you become weak, you become defenseless, you can become powerless. You feel like you don't have a place, you have no worth. However, there's that little voice inside that tells you, like you say, to keep climbing. Because I might be in the valley and just underwater, but my head is still above water, and it's the case of like keep pushing at it, and it's almost like the ripples of the waves kind of like pushed me and lifted me up, and then that's how I found myself on ground.
Right. And then you told us about, in the early days, you didn't know where your allies were, where your friends were, where the contacts and connections were, because they're all hidden. So how did you find that fellowship, that allyship, those support networks? The
way I found all the fellowship and the allyship is it's just through experience, and some, I learned, there's a saying, some people are going to come into your life for a season, and some people are going to come into your life for a long term, and through that process, I made some wonderful friends who, at that period, helped me to an extent find my place, find my footing, and then you grow up and you start to realize that those very people that were helping were also taking advantage in some way, because they knew your weakness and they played on your vulnerability. But like I said, you find that resilience, and you grow, and it's not like outwitting them, it's just you realize, okay, and I appreciate them for all the help they gave me, but I knew that there are other people out there that I want to be amongst.
So the other thing we learned during your presentation is the power of self-confidence. Even though inwardly you might be shy, which you said you are, but outwardly you exude this Mr. Fabulous, this inspirational, energetic individual. How did you find the new Mr. Fabulous on that mountain?
The funny thing is, before the attack, I was young Mr. Fabulous.
Yeah.
I was full of life. I was full of everything you can think of. Aspiration, optimistic. The world was my oyster, and that was taken away from me. And what it was is basically finding all those things. It's like talking about bullies and understanding, later on in the years that these people really aspire to be like you, And then I found Mr. Fabulous. I realized I could go back to being that joyful self again, that playful self again. Yeah. And then the dress up came, and the music came, and my opportunity. Even though I lost out on a music career, I got to live out a lot of my dreams by being a choir director for nearly 16 years. But at the same time, I thought, right, there will come a time where I'm going to have to step away because I want to climb my own mountain. It's all great having, helping. I've helped so many people climb mountains, and I'll continue to do that.
So one further question. I'm reminded by a story by Levi Roots, who tells us of life before Dragon's Den and after Dragon's Den. And his main story is, before Dragon's Den, I got dreadlocks, I'm black, I go to the bank manager and I ask him for money and he kicks me out of the door. Next time I go, I kick down that door and I demand my fair equal rights. I'll get kicked out again. The next time I go with an ally, a white man with privilege, and the door is open, coffee, biscuits, and now every time I go I'm treated with respect. Who was your ally? Who was the person that supported you and took you into either a coaching mold or a mentoring role? Who were the individuals that now you could go back and say, get yourself a mentor, get yourself a coach, get yourself some support?
If it wasn't for the Prince's Trust,
right,
I wouldn't be where I am today. I was very lucky because their age bracket is from 16 to 30 for the business development program. And I just, I got there at the right time, and I pitched my idea, told them my story openly, and they gave me the opportunity.
Tell us a bit more about Prince's Trust, because my story in the fire service I could tell you, but it's your story. Why are the Prince's Trust so amazing for people from diverse backgrounds?
Well, the Prince's Trust was set up by His Royal House of Prince of Wales back in 1976. They help young people go to work, education, and training. So many young people are thriving and succeeding in so many different careers, and they give an opportunity. But what I love about the Prince's Trust is they don't just help you and then just leave you. They remain your friends, even if it's in the background. With the Prince's Trust, they saw something in me where they, even after the 3-year development program, they still remain my friends until today. I mean, having gone carried Olympic torch, represented them in various interviews all over the country, they're still there.
Jay, I couldn't think of a better advocate for Prince's Trust than yourself. So I want to finish on the future, looking forward. Right, Jay, tell us about your future plans, your new business, your sustainable products.
Well, I've been talking a lot about my life, about how I've been given a chance, and sustainability, being eco-friendly in the world is a big thing at the moment, and that's something that myself and His Royal Husbands were share in common. If we can plant more trees into the world to make a better place for ourselves in the future, then that's something I will do. And I'm currently working with a company called Vendula London, and they're a vegan company designing handbags, and I'm kind of promoting them at the moment, and with the view to hopefully designing my own collection. I have shows coming up, but I'm a bit like Adele when it comes to my singing. I'll probably host a concert once every 3 years, and I'm actually doing one in 2022 because I'm also a breast cancer awareness charity ambassador.
Oh, brilliant!
So I'm doing one.
I'll have to invite you to Bedford. We've got a wonderful little jazz club there, so
I love
invite
jazz.
you down
Absolutely
there.
love jazz.
Well, to perform. So We want to be, as AFSA, the first people that buy your products. So make sure we have the number one handbag or the number one product you produce, because in years to come, I can see selling for millions.
Well, you know, there's nothing saying that, you know, we can't create a collection that is based around the, you know, the fire service. But Vendula is all about stories. Right. The bag tells a story. Right. You know, we're just the Pink Ribbon Foundation are just they're launching one of their own story collection. Why can't,
let's do it?
You know, because the thing is, it's sometimes through other means, through other channels, through other, could be fashion, could be style, could be music. We are still telling our story. We are still sharing something that's important, and that's AFSA.
So Phil, I want you to see this handshake of contract. We're making a contract to support Jay, both as the Asian Fire Service Association, but also as APNA NHS. So good luck in the future.
Thank you, sir.
Our paths will cross many times.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.